Welcome to the Indian River County Chamber's candidate interview series. I am joined today by Bob McPartlan. He is running for County Commission District 2. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Great. And I'm Andrea Beam. I'm the president of the Indian River County Chamber of Commerce. So Bob, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Indian River County?
What brought me to Indian River County was my first father-in-law, because he was snowbird down here. And I was living up in New York, and I said, wow, what I'm paying in rent, I can come down here and that would be my mortgage payment. So that's what brought me down to Sebastian. I'm in the same house I've been in since 2000.
Okay, nice.
Originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Nice.
But
Okay.
I've been on the Sebastian City Council basically for the past 15 years.
Okay.
I've been mayor, I've been vice mayor, I've been council member. I'm also serve on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is planning the roads, the infrastructure for the next 10 to 15 years. My peers on there have made me chairman probably 10 of those 15 years. Now, I don't know if they like how I run a meeting or if they just want to stick it to me. So, and then I've been involved in the community in all different aspects because, again, my role is with the Department of Children and Families. I'm the Community Development Administrator for the 4-county area. So I'm involved in a lot of, I guess you could say, extracurricular activities. And I get invited to participate in a lot because I'm probably the most dangerous person on the face of the earth. They say a little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and I know a lot about a lot of different things. I mean, one of the past ones involving Indian River County was the Community Health Improvement Plan. So I've been involved in that. I sit on the Indian River County Executive Roundtable. I sit on the Indian River County Children's Services Advisory Committee for this county, and I do very similar roles in the other counties that I serve as well.
Okay, great. So what's motivating you to run for county commission in this term, and if elected, what would your top priorities be?
Well, what motivated me is you know, it's kind of a bit of a story. Is last year my older brother, he passed away from ALS. And that, you know, I went up to take care of him for a couple of weeks, you know, because that's a very devastating illness. And he had tremendous faith, so he renewed my faith, number one. So after he passed away and I came back down, you know, I found a church and renewed my faith. And, you know, I know that God is number one in my life, and then my family follows through. So the other aspect was I was looking to retire from the Department of Children and Families a year from December. I'll be 62 years old, and I was looking to retire. And then I was actually going to become one of the veteran service officers that are in Indian River County, or I was going to volunteer with them because I've gone through the process myself because I was in the United States Army bomb squad. So I had a lot of exposure. So I learned a lot, and I was going to give back to the community, which I don't think I know anything else but serving my community. And that's what I was going to do. And then I saw where Commissioner Fletcher was retiring after 20 years. And I called him up first and I said, is this accurate? And he told me, yes, it was accurate. And so I had spoken probably I did speak to every county commissioner about it. I spoke to everybody on the city council, that's my board. Of course, first I talked to my wife first, then the pastor second, you know, to get their input as to what would happen. And that's when, you know, I put my name in the ring because number one, I mean, Commissioner Fletcher, like him, love him, hate him, he has a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge that is going to be lost, and especially the challenges that are facing this community coming up with the property tax referendum. If it passes, if it doesn't pass, there's a lot of issues that have to be done, you know, dealt with. And I have 15 years serving on the Sebastian City Council, going through 15 budget cycles with them, as well as my time on the Metropolitan Planning Organization. And then with my role with the department, knowing what's going on in the community, how everybody feels, how the economy impacts everybody to every different portion and seniors. So I think I have the most experience, and that's, again, serving my community. That's what I was going to do. So I saw he was retired. I never thought he'd retire. So that's what motivated me.
Okay. And how about some priorities that you have for your first term? Is there anything you'd like to see happen that maybe is going along or help it, you know, get there?
I would say number one, the biggest priority, of course, is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, is the property tax abatement, whether it passes, whether it doesn't pass. You know, if it passes, you're going to have somebody in there who knows how you can, you know, services that might have to be cut. When I started on Sebastian City Council back in 2011, we were coming out of the recession. At that time, every city employee up in Sebastian was taking an unpaid furlough day. And I was on council about 3 years before we were able to get rid of the furlough days. Also, what I learned during that period, you can kick the can down the road on certain things. Like if you kick it down on roads, they can wind up costing you much more in the future. So you have to be very looking at what could potentially be cut. So I think I have experience in that through, not only serving on the city of Sebastian, but I'm also, I ran investigations for the 4-county area. So I was responsible for almost 5,000 child abuse investigations a year, running about close to 60 employees over the 4 counties, which were 8 units. So I know how to manage a budget. And then I serve on several other organizations where there is a budget that we have to make sure we maintain. So I have that budget experience.
Yeah, definitely important coming up when, like you said, either way, no matter which way it goes, it's
right.
going to be interesting to figure out. So, so your particular district, District 2, includes much of the North County, Sebastian, some of the Barrier Island, and the Lagoon. So what is your, in your viewpoint, what are some of the major challenges and opportunities that are coming up for your district in particular?
Well, there's always opportunities. And ever since I've been on the Sebastian City Council, the lagoon is extremely important. I don't know if a lot of people may forget when the Indian River Lagoon Council was first formed, and that's the counties along the river. Indian River County did not want to be a part of the Indian River Lagoon. So when we got wind of it in Sebastian, I was the mayor at the time, I said, you know what, we'll take that seat. It cost $50,000 because they saw the importance of the Lagoon Council. And thank God one of my other council members said, let's talk to the other municipalities. And Sebastian, Fellsmere, and Vero Beach, we split the cost of that seat for about 3 years until there was a change in the county board and they saw the importance of the Lagoon Council. And that council meets in the Sebastian City Council chambers. I would hate to think about what would have happened if Indian River County did not take part in that. And again, that's with the counties up and down, Brevard, Volusia, and then Martin and St. Lucie County that participate in that. So every program, every development we've done along the lagoon is to get people off of septic. Last year when I was the mayor, I met with the chairman, was Joe Flesher at the time, and I had asked my board, can I sit down with him and with the administrators and see if we can get this interlocal agreement accomplished, because it hadn't been done for a long time. And at the time my board laughed and they didn't think anything would happen, but we did meet several times and we had the interlocal agreement, completed. And again, to run the sewer line, more up and down Indian River Drive, the city of Sebastian kicked in some money. And again, that's to get people off of there. And I think as a commissioner, I could see where the sewer line is. We can't get everybody hooked up to sewer throughout, the unincorporated areas or the city of Sebastian that's not already connected. But I think there are some lines that could branch out, and there's opportunities there where we could get citizens connected.
Okay. So the Chamber of Commerce, the Sebastian Chamber, is very active in the Sebastian community, and Indian River County Chamber covers the entire county. As you know, we advocate for the business community and try to support our local businesses and bring in new talent and new tax dollars to the area. So what do you see as the County Commission's role in helping to support local businesses as well as attracting quality employers to the area?
Okay. Number one is to have, a continued great relationship with the chamber and the importance of that, drawing in new businesses. I think it's also extremely important to look at the county structure. Like if you have, also existing businesses, what can we do to have them expand? Are there tax abatement that could be supported? As well as when a new business or an existing business that wants to expand and move, do they have kind of a concierge service in the county? One of the complaints I've heard from a lot of businesses is it's very difficult to work with the county, permitting and everything. One of the things we've done over the years in the city of Sebastian is our community services department. All I have ever heard is how great it is, because the customer is number one. And who could that be? Is a new business or an existing business that wants to expand, because it's win-win. So at the city of Sebastian, we look at how can we help you, as opposed to here's what you need to do, and then if you bring it back, it's incorrect. No, you got to do it again. But trying to walk them through to make them as successful as they can, because if they're successful, the community is successful, we all win.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And final question. Let's see. Oh, nope. So if elected, what would success look like to you, and how would you measure your effectiveness as a commissioner in your first term?
That's up to the people, I guess, to decide if you run for election again, if you get reelected. But I think what's important is the county, just as the city of Sebastian, we had strategic plans that were drawn up. And you have to look at, where am I at in the strategic plan? Have I reached all the goals that I set forth for this year, as well as the capital improvement projects that were planned for then? What have you done? Have you completed them? Have they been on time? Were they at cost or under cost? Of course, you're going to have to look at the millage rate. Where's the millage rate? Is it right? And again, that all kind of ties back to the property tax issue that's going to be on the ballot. And then looking at, where's the community at? What's the employment? The employment rate, and not only what the importance of that, but what is the wages that they're earning? Or has that risen? Because I think that is really tell you if you're successful, as well as your involvement with the school district. Where are they at? Have they improved? What have we done for affordable housing, workforce housing? I can tell you what we've done in the city of Sebastian. We have partnered with the Habitat for Humanity, and we gave them some land that we own. And again, the first priority would be a Sebastian employee, Sebastian resident, then Indian River County employee. But of course, we're looking to first priorities in those groups would be first responders, would be teachers, would be nurses, people that work in the community who are struggling, because to attain a house now is just so far from what it was at one time. So that's important. I think another thing that's extremely important that people don't look at, again, I look at a lot of things from a different point of view, is will the maternity ward at the hospital still be here? Because a lot of potential businesses that want to move here, that's what they look at. They look at, what is the school system? Is it an A-rated system, which it is? Dr. Moore does a tremendous job, along with some of the nonprofits that assist with literacy. But do they provide maternity? Nobody wants to have to go up to Holmes Regional in Brevard County or down to Lawnwood in St. Lucie County. So that's a huge piece that you have to look at. So that's another area that you have to look at. As far as effectiveness, I respond to every citizen who has ever called me, emailed me, not only in my role with the Department of Children and Families, who never know every door I ever knocked on, nobody ever said, "Come on in, Bob." It was usually, a different situation, but even the residents in the city. And one of the things I've always said, nobody's going to always agree with you, but if you agree with me 7 out of 10 times, vote for me. If you agree with me 10 out of 10, seek professional help.
Nice. So, all right, yeah. Any last closing thoughts you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would just like to say, August 18th, make sure you get out and you vote. As far as the property tax amendment, I just encourage people to get all the information they possibly can and ensure that, you could have, it's not just no property taxes, but that doesn't mean potentially that ad valorem taxes can't be shifted over into a non-ad valorem assessment, and nobody wants that to happen. But just to get all of the information, and anybody has any additional questions for me, see my website, votebobmcpartlan.com, or give me a call, 772-205-5490.
Great. And thank you so much for being here this afternoon, and especially for your many years as a public servant and your willingness to serve the residents of Indian River County.
Thank you.
It was nice to see you again.
You too.
All right. Thanks.
I've been on the Sebastian City.